Conservatism? Conservative? What is being conserved? Nothing. True conservatism is about ensuring our people survive to enjoy the use of our own land under our own laws by the lights of our own culture. The captive right of Conservatism Inc., trademark, are liberal, politically correct, cultural Marxists whose job it is to play act like they stand for the majority as they in fact sell out the majority conservative citizens to the money bags that fund both the captive right and the treason lobby left. Hear us, our people, and weep, for your nation, it has been betrayed. We have been sold for 30 pennies by Judas to the moneylenders. These plutocrats and economic elites have spared no expense to ensure that all allowed and respectable voices are bought by themselves. This is why Trump has them so worked up, as he is not bought by them and cannot be trusted to keep their arrangements in place. However, back to our narrative. The historical majority rightful people of the West are nearly a minority. The Christian values of the West are almost cast down. The lands of the Western peoples are being invaded and appropriated by foreign hordes of pillaging, raping culture destroyers. All of this while Conservatism Inc. seems to fiddle amongst the smoldering tire fires in the streets of the cities which were once the Western lands, like some sort of collective Nero. Fires meant to burn out the foundations of the West. Fires meant to force us by fear and necessity to submit to multiculturalism and its death cult beliefs derived from Marxism's theories about universal humanity. Fires started by the direct action of the left, captive right, and big money that backs both of the wings of the two-party facade called democracy, which is a farce and a fraud. The demos, that is the majority historical people, are silenced and kept out of arche, which is power by all means fair and foul. Fires started by subversives given legal protection by the left and enabled by the conservative leadership who have long since sold out to the false idols of the leftist cult called multicultural political correctness. False leaders who value mammon over Main Street, money over mom and apple pie. False leaders who are perfectly willing to fall on their face on command from political correctness, big money, and the left's diversity, and tolerate it as well. Fires, looting, pillaging, and the captive right nary utters a whimper, and that is because the left dictates the morality and the captive right submits. See Martin Luther King. This statement has been the complete and utter truth since at least the civil rights era. An openly subversive overthrow of majority society, which put modern America on track for today's multicultural, liberal death cult. An overthrow the captive right supports, since as things stand, they are enthralled, nay captivated, even cuckolded to the leftist worldview. Their thraldom and treason come as a set. The elite among the captive right get money and perks, as well as being physically safe, for now, from the PC hordes, so thus is their treason explained. However, what is totally beyond us, and what we cannot figure out is, what is conservative about common, middle, and working class majority citizens playing along with this rigged game in which their own side, quote unquote, sells them out to the politically correct death cult? Frankly, the answer about, well, it is better than the left liberals winning, which we have all heard for decades, is absurd, as the leftist internationalists are winning in real time, all day, every day, and have been winning in a big way for some time now. Hint, all the teams in play are internationalist teams. Thus, no matter who wins, internationalism wins by default. The money supports the left, so the captive right allows the left to have its way with their conservative base. It is rather like a pimp giving a girl out as a favor, actually. But be that as it may, the left has forced the following upon conservatives: diversity, tolerance, and political correctness free of question. Affirmative action as a right. Safe spaces to plot further subversion against traditional society. Gun control by many other names. Babylonian transgenderism as normative, healthy, and a veritable fact of nature itself. Support from the law and the state as the left engages in the degradation of all traditional values as a protected and absolute legal right. Centralized control of education by which they spread their egalitarian liberal lies to the children. mass immigration to dilute the majority and to punish us for our white guilt. And last but not least, a captive conservative tax base that pays for all the left centrist subversion of their ideals, way of life, and biological integrity as a Western people, while they wait another 2, 4, and 6 years to get all worked up about losing over and over and over again. Maybe honestly assessing reality would be a solution. Maybe leaving the false leaders and quack theories of the captive right for real leadership who care about conserving the majority people and their values might be an option. Leaders who do not lie to us about reality. Leaders with the stones to stand up to political correctness, fantasy notions about white guilt, human equality, diversity, tolerance, and oppression. Maybe, just maybe, and leaders that openly proclaim that the majority have unique interest and an identity and history worthy of being proud of might help us stop acting like whipped curs, huh? Yes, yes, Hitler, how droll. Let the media memes go, folks. Just maybe it is time to put down the Hitler as he has nothing to do with modern immigration. That just is not cutting the grade. It is the liberal, politically correct, cultural Marxist equivalent of poo-poo head. And we are way past that point. Dry those eyes. Now, to continue with the process of mental liberation. It is often claimed that third worlders are more socially conservative, but how does that help us when it is not our culture they wish to conserve? Conserving their culture among us helps us native-born rightful citizens. How exactly? Assuming this is truth, that the invaders are more conservative, the predictable result is still that we end up minorities in our own lands. What is conservative about that outcome? How do you conserve a people and their cultural values by allowing them to be degraded and diluted to the point they are destroyed? Do you all want to be invaded by foreign hordes that will destroy your unique identity or not? Basically, one cannot bring in large numbers of totally biologically different people from all corners of the globe, and for the most part directly out of the Stone Age, with the intent purpose which the left shouts daily from the rooftops of creating diversity, i.e. a minority out of the majority, and expect to keep the norms and customs of the proper majority first world citizens among the diverse soup so created. This is not rational. Nor will the former first world citizens so swamped by the third world barbarians be able to keep the standards of living, material culture, or the level of intellectual discourse at anything like its current Western majority levels. We all know this. Saying the truth out loud will set you free. So again from the top, what is conservative about importing people that will displace your people and your principles in time? Nothing at all is the truthful, 100% painful answer. It is in fact suicidal for our Western nations to import all these third worlders who bring nothing except violence, squalor, and barbarism. They are of zero value to the majority citizens. Why does anyone tolerate being replaced by barbarian Stone Age savages? Same reason conservatives join in calling anyone that objects to mass immigration, invasion, diversity, PC, and the other leftist fantasy notions, Hitler, racist, Nazi, because you are all terrified of being called names by liberals and cultural Marxists. The labels racist, Nazi, and hater terrify you folks. The fact is you need to free your mind from the left's value judgments and come over to the nation. We are waiting to embrace our lost brothers and sisters, but only after they have let go of the politically correctness and its death cult mentality. Free yourself from this burden of living up to your enemy's expectations, and you will be free to serve the national interest exclusively. We think freely of PC, and thus we can say without shame, true conservatism is about ensuring our people survive to enjoy the use of our own land under our own laws by the lights of our own culture. True conservatism is based on a singular nation in a single land and is not universal at all, but particular and unique. True conservatism starts with conserving the people, their communities, and the families which make up said communities. It is about preserving and passing on traditions and culture with pride. It is about keeping what is ours to pass down to our own. Free your mind from political correctness, and you will be free to think of your Western identity. We think freely of political correctness. If you wish to know what we think, read the PDF linked in almost all of our works. There will be a link at the end of this program. To sum up our beliefs in a few sentences, the white Western peoples are under assault by political correct and money forces, which working as a team are importing the third world to break us down into serfs. That is the long and short of our beliefs. It is logical, visually obvious, and factually true according to the left's own public pronouncements and the right's own stance on these issues, to which we propose going back to family as the foundation of people, and from there simply leaving this multicultural ship to the end that we, the majority, will be our own ship. We, the Western majority, have no need of the political multiculture. Political correctness being purely a parasite that lives upon the Western peoples the same as Marxism lived off the Slav people for its time. We are far more anti-communist than any of the modern right, but also we are community-minded and hate this individualist free-for-all, liking it to rats in a flood. Vile and base, it lacks in honor. It simply is not natural for humans to operate as little happiness units, each preying upon his fellows. Liberalism is a form of war unleashed upon society so that others can reap the money from the chaos. This war will be ended by us to our advantage, and the lies of political correctness, modernity, and liberalism will be cast out from among our living spaces. This will ensure we have control of our destiny. That about sums up our beliefs off the cuff, but feel free to ask questions. Please share, download, and subscribe to the blog and YouTube channel. The link will be at the bottom of the text. Thank you. By the way, this all started as a Google Plus post. Thank you again.